Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are completely unpacking the core philosophy behind one of the absolute most impactful books ever written, Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But, before we can even get to the habits themselves, we really have to understand the fundamental concept Covey calls the inside-out approach. Okay, let's dive into this and see how it completely redefines the way we look at success, change, and, well, our own lives.
So does any of this sound familiar to you? I'm busy all the time, but I wonder if what I'm doing even matters. Or maybe I've taken time management courses, but there's still literally never enough time. How about my marriage has gone flat? Or my teenage son is rebellious and just won't listen. These are incredibly common, deeply painful life frustrations. And if you've ever felt stuck in one of these scenarios, trying desperately to change things and getting absolutely nowhere, stick around because this explainer is going to reveal a completely different approach to lasting change.
Section 1. The problem with quick fixes.
Our modern society is absolutely obsessed with superficial Band-Aid solutions. We want a pill to cure our illness, a quick hack to fix our relationships, maybe a weekend seminar to suddenly fix our careers. But deep, chronic problems, they simply cannot be solved with quick fix approaches. Covey shares a deeply personal story that perfectly illustrates this. He and his wife, Sandra, were really struggling with one of their sons. The boy was failing academically, socially immature, and athletically just super uncoordinated. He'd literally swing a baseball bat before the ball was even pitched, and kids would laugh at him. Desperate to help, Stephen and Sandra tried applying your typical quick fix, positive mental attitude techniques. They'd say things like, "Come on, son, you can do it. Keep your eye on the ball." And they'd fiercely defend him when other people laughed. But guess what? It didn't work. The boy just cried and said he was no good. Eventually, the Coveys realized a really bitter truth. Underneath all their positive cheering, their fundamental, unspoken perception was that their son was inadequate and needed protecting. And that underlying message spoke way louder than their positive words ever could.
Section 2. Character versus personality ethic.
To understand exactly why those quick fixes fail, Covey did something absolutely fascinating. He went back and reviewed 200 years of success literature in the United States just to see how our definitions of success have changed over time. And this brilliantly illustrates what he found. For the first 150 years, success literature focused almost entirely on what Covey calls the character ethic. This was all about fundamental principles, stuff like integrity, humility, courage, patience, and the golden rule. It was about who you were at your very core. But shortly after World War I, things completely shifted. The focus suddenly moved to the personality ethic. Success became all about public image, quick-fix PR techniques, smiling to win friends, and honestly, sometimes outright manipulation. Now, while those skills can have a place, relying on them as your primary strategy is literally like putting a social Band-Aid on a deep wound. It leaves the underlying chronic problem totally untouched. To really drive this point home, ask yourself this: can you cram on a farm? Seriously, think about it. Can you forget to plant in the spring, just slack off and play all summer long, and then totally cram in the fall to bring in the harvest? Of course not. That is completely absurd.
The farm is a natural system. It's governed by the law of the harvest, which is, you always reap what you sow, there is no shortcut. You might be able to use the personality ethic to kind of charm your way through a short-term social interaction, but human relationships are natural systems just like that farm. Long-term human relationships require fundamental character strength, not just short-term charm. If there is a deep integrity there, eventually your true motives are going to surface, and the relationship will fail.
Section 3. The power of paradigms. So if we can't rely on quick fixes, what actually drives our behaviors and attitudes? Well, this is the root of the inside-out approach. It all comes down to paradigms. A paradigm, in this context, is a mental map. It's the frame of reference, or the lens through which we see, understand, and interpret the world. Think of it exactly like a physical map. Say you want to find a specific destination in central Chicago, but you were accidentally given a map of Detroit. What happens? I mean, you could work on your behavior, right? You could try harder, drive faster, but you just get to the wrong place faster. You could work on your attitude, try to think super positive thoughts, but you're still lost. The problem isn't your behavior, and it's not your attitude. The fundamental problem is that you simply have the wrong map.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how easily our own maps, our own paradigms, can be manipulated by our past conditioning. I want you to actively engage with this for just a second. Take a few moments and just study this drawing. Look at the lines, the features, the overall shape.
Okay, let me ask you, do you see a young woman or an old woman? What if I told you this is a picture of a lovely 25-year-old fashion model with a petite nose turning her head away from us? But wait, What if I said, no way, you're totally wrong. This is a picture of a sad woman in her 70s with a huge hook nose, wearing a shawl, who looks like she needs help crossing the street. Who's right?
Well, the crazy truth is it's both. This exact image was famously used in a Harvard Business School experiment to prove that two people can look at the exact same facts, fiercely disagree with each other, and both be completely right. It all depends entirely on how they were conditioned to view the image beforehand. It proves that the way we see things is the way we are conditioned to see them. We don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. Whenever we open our mouths to describe what we see, we're really just describing ourselves and our own unique conditioned paradigms.
Section 4. Experiencing a paradigm shift.
Understanding that our perception isn't objective reality, that's just the first step. The next and most powerful step by far is experiencing a paradigm shift. This is where quantum, life-altering change actually happens. A paradigm shift is that sudden, mind-blowing aha moment. It's when you instantly break from old ways of thinking and suddenly see things in a totally new light. To make massive quantum improvements in our lives, we have to stop hacking away at the leaves, which is just our behavior and our attitude, and we absolutely must strike at the root, which is our paradigms. Let me share one of the most powerful stories from the source material because it perfectly captures this. Covey was riding on a quiet New York subway on a Sunday morning. People were reading, resting, just enjoying the peace. Suddenly, a man and his children enter the car. And the kids are just totally out of control. They're yelling, throwing things, even grabbing people's newspapers. Meanwhile, the father just sits there with his eyes closed, doing absolutely nothing about it. Covey, feeling deeply, deeply irritated by this man's total lack of responsibility, finally turns to him and says, "Sir, your children are really disturbing a lot of people. I wonder if you couldn't control them a little more." The man lifts his gaze, almost like he's suddenly waking up, and softly replies, "Oh, you're right. I guess I should do something about it. We just came from the hospital where their mother died about an hour ago. I don't know what to think, and I guess they don't know how to handle it either." Just think about that exact moment. In a fraction of a second, a massive paradigm shift occurred for Covey. He didn't have to sit there and force a positive mental attitude. He didn't have to grit his teeth and try to manage his behavior. Because his paradigm shifted, he suddenly saw the situation totally differently, and therefore he thought differently, felt differently, and behaved differently. His irritation vanished instantly, replaced entirely by profound compassion. That is the unrivaled power of a true paradigm shift.
Section 5. Timeless Lighthouse Principles.
So, if we know that our paradigms dictate our reality, what exactly should we anchor them to? We want to make sure we have the right map, right? Well, there's this brilliant story from a naval magazine about a huge battleship on maneuvers in heavy fog. The captain spots a light ahead on a direct collision course and signals the other ship to change course 20 degrees. The other ship signals back, "Advisable for you to change course." Furious, the captain signals, "I'm a captain. Change course 20 degrees." The reply comes back, "I'm a seaman second class. You had better change course." Finally, absolutely enraged, the captain spits out, "Sand, I'm a battleship. Change course 20 degrees." The flashing light calmly replies, "I'm a lighthouse." Needless to say, the battleship changed course. The captain's subjective, limited paradigm was instantly shattered by an objective reality that he simply could not move.
So the crucial point is this. Principles are lighthouses. They are natural laws in the human dimension that are absolutely unbreaking and unchanging. We literally cannot break these natural laws, we can only break ourselves against them. While our personal paradigms are just subjective maps trying to describe the territory, these principles actually are the objective territory. And what are these lighthouse principles? They aren't mysterious at all. They are universal things like fairness, integrity, honesty, human dignity, service, and excellence. These are the things woven right into the fabric of every enduring civilized society. True lasting effectiveness, the exact kind of effectiveness Covey's entire framework is built upon, only happens when we finally stop relying on quick-fix personality tricks and start doing the deep, inside-out work of actually aligning our internal paradigms with these timeless, natural laws. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, deeply important thought to ponder. Take a hard look at the maps you are using right now in your relationships, in your career, and for your own personal growth. If your life is a map, are you navigating by the shifting, superficial winds of personality and quick fixes? Or are you anchoring yourself firmly to the unchanging lighthouses of principle? Honestly answering that question for yourself is your very first, absolute most crucial step toward true, highly effective, inside-out change.